All right. So far, what have we accomplished? We've got our load sheets, our trucks are loaded correctly, we've arrived on site, we've seen the digger's hotline has marked the location for us, we've squared the stake line, we've driven our stakes into the ground. This is where we're at right now, okay? So our next step is drop cloths. You must use drop cloths 100% of the time. Drop cloths are just as important as the sledgehammer, just as important as your gasoline-powered stake driver, just as important as the rulers and the paint. It is a tool that must be used on every single install. I don't care what the surface is. I don't care if you're going to a PGA golf course and you're doing it on the 18th green. You will use a drop cloth. And why is that?
Keep it clean.
To keep your tent clean, number one. Number two, to keep internal punctures from happening on your tent. I don't know how much you know about the fabric that's above your head, but all of these fabrics are usually made out of three pieces. You have an inner layer, which you're seeing. You have a middle layer, which is called a scrim, which is just a mesh that provides the strength to this top. And then you have the outer layer. Some tents, like this one, have a fourth layer, which is called a blackout layer, which makes the tent dark and the sun can't come through. But what happens when you don't use a drop cloth is that you will make very small punctures from the little sticks and stones and things that might be laying on the grass in the tent top. What happens then is that scrim sucks the moisture out of the air, out of the ground, out of your drop cloth, and that moisture gets trapped between the layers of the tent. Living in that moisture are very small microorganisms. Those microorganisms die once they get trapped in this vinyl. And when they die, they turn black. And if you've ever been in a translucent tent and you see all this black spots inside the tent, it never comes out. You can scrub and scrub and scrub, you can bleach, you can use chemicals, they will never come out. That is trapped between the layers of the vinyl. It's there for the rest of the life. That's the second reason. Third reason, particularly on asphalt. This tent is made out of oil. It's an oil-based product. You put that on top of another oil-based product, you get all kinds of goofy reactions going on. You can actually soften the vinyl. You can make weak spots in the tent, not to mention oil spots from the 1972 Rambler that's sitting in that parking lot dripping oil. And you drag your tent on top of it, your tent's going to suck all that oil up. Those are the reasons. Drop cloths. There are basically 2 or 3 types of drop cloths on the market. This particular drop cloth, first time I've ever used it was here. This is a polyester material. It's a great dry weather drop cloth. It's a little bit light for me, my taste, as far as the wind blowing it around, but it's a great, very light, easy to handle drop cloth. Wonderful in dry weather. When we approach wet weather jobs, we use a plastic drop cloth, the blue tarp. Just standard blue, green, whatever color drop cloth you want. Third one that I've seen, people use rolls of visqueen, plastic, 2 mil plastic, 3 mil plastic, and they'll roll that out. I don't care what it is, you got to get something between the ground and the surface of this tent. Absolute must. One other thing to keep in mind when you're doing drop cloths is which way is the wind blowing, okay? If you have a multiple piece tent and you're using multiple drop cloths, you always want to start laying your drop cloths off downwind. You lay that first drop cloth out. What I mean by downwind is, let's assume the wind is blowing from that direction and blowing this way. If I lay the drop cloths out down on that end of the tent first, the next one I lay out lays on top of the first one and the wind blows over it. If I lay them out this way, the wind blows and hits this drop cloth and you're constantly chasing drop cloths around.